Hello
Cette
everyone,
conférence va maintenant être enregistrée.
I'm very happy to be your host for this launch today. We are launching season 3 of Epidemium. I'm really glad to see a lot of names I know quite well in the list of participants and being partners, being speakers, being scientists linked to the program or being people I knew from previous sessions. So that's very glad for me to be here today. Without much further ado, we'll dive into what is epidemiology. For the people who are just joining us for this session and for this season, I will try to present you a bit of the spirit of this program, which has been launching for quite a long time now, since it's been beginning in 2015. I hope everything goes right with the share screening. So please let me know if everything is all right for you and if you have the presentation running okay. If you just can tell me in the chat, it would be perfect. I assume it's okay as there is not anyone complaining. So welcome again. We have quite a day today and also a few things to share. As the program today will be, of course, explaining a bit the spirit and the grasp of epidemiology program, the partners, the team, such stuff. Then the challenge one will be presented by Cécile, Professor Cécile Badoil. The second challenge will be presented by Julien Guérin from JOGL Cancer, and we have also Thomas Londrin, who knows the program for quite a long time, will be presenting the community platform JOGL, a technical partner on this program. Then I'll get back to you on how to contribute to this program for this session. Then we will have an intervention from Roche, our sponsor on this program from the beginning. Then a short Q&A session. Just to let you know, we also have in 1 week, Wednesday, another session based on more details about the data and the content of the challenge. So don't be worried if it's quite short for this session. You'll have much more things in a very short time. So welcome for the ones that are discovering Epidemium program, which aim is to foster science and innovation with community to deliver science related to research on health. So the idea of Epidemium is to put together people that are not always talking together and try to produce good content for science. The goal is to address communities for scientific challenges and program we'll be presenting to you this season's once through a data challenge, so there is data, and through an open approach. So the idea is that the data we're presenting are open, but the idea is also that the results of the challenge will be open. So as you see me, there are plenty of other people working on this season's content. So I'm joining up the program as a program manager from a very short time. So I'd like to thank Aude for the previous work she did on the project preparation. Olivier as the president of the association Epidemium, Mehdi Benchoufi, who is our scientific referent, Alexandre, working with us about data, and Jonathan, of course, who is all about the legal aspects and much more. So that's the team for this season. What we try to do in Epidemium is bringing up a network of people to work together through dataset. In the aim of producing good science. And good science means trying to reach publication. Of course, if you are just joining up a program, you may be not a scientist, and it might be a little high expectation for you, but be warned that it's not a challenge you will achieve alone. The idea of Epidemium is to work as a community. So we'll be here to provide you guidance, and other people from other teams can also help you toward this project. So that's really the goal, to activate something useful. And this season, we have all the reasons to think that we'll be as close as ever to produce really something that is going further than the previous seasons. So we are really glad for that. You will discover the data toolkit very soon, and the data challenge results will come also, of course, open source. I'd like to introduce you a few names on the Ethic and Scientific Committee. Some people are here for quite a long time in those committees, so we'd like to particularly thank Professor Norlanger, Muriel Londres, and David Simons for being into the Ethics Committee. And of course, in the Scientific Committee, Professor Badoual, Mr. Bakri, Jean-Philippe Vert, Julien Guérin, and Stéphania Revigny, who accepted to join us for this new season. Our partners, of course, Roche, that have been supporting the idea and believing into the idea that communities could deliver open knowledge and from a good quality, that's supporting the program from the beginning. So thank you. Latitude, that is working with us to deliver more impact on students, more specifically. And challenge partners as APHP, Grosseropol, the Curie Institute, and CapCode for this season. Of course, our technical partners are also a big part of what will happen. So thanks to JOGL, Just One Giant Lab, Octopies for the anonymization of data, and Dataiku for providing a platform you will soon discover. So maybe if Cécile is among us, and probably Mehdi too, I will let the floor to you to present the first challenge, a short grasp of 5 to 10 minutes about what is the idea, how it began, what we are expecting maybe from that, but just in a very short way, so people can understand the idea of what they can maybe do from this program. So maybe Cécile, are you with us?
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm delighted to be there and then to share this moment with you. I'm pathologist and I'm working at the Georges Pompidou Hospital, and I'm the head of the pathology department, and I'm mostly dedicated to head and neck cancer. So this challenge is focused on the fact that I don't know if you are aware, but some of the cancer in the oropharynx, I mean in the deep of the mouth, the tonsil are due to alcohol and tobacco, but also some of them are due to HPV infection. So I used to do my research in an immunology team, and we focus on the fact that lymphocyte and macrophagic, meaning different cells around the tumor cells, can fight or not against the tumor, and the infection due to HPV has a big role. So you will have to play with some images coming from the research team, with some cells stained, and you will find staining of tumor cells and of different sets of lymphocytes and macrophages and all of these kind of cells. And then you will have to focus on may I find an algorithm to could be applied in this kind of tumor to just be predictive of the survival of the patient and the survival without recurrence of the tumor. So you will have plenty of information, and the goal is to help us to try to find signatures to just help this young patient to be treated. I don't know if you want to add something, Mehdi?
I think Mehdi is struggling to join us. Technical issue.
We finally made it. You see?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So great. Thank you, Marc, for this introduction, and thank you, Cécile, for this presentation of the challenge, which is really a thrilling challenge related to really, from a public health point of view, an important, very important topic that we aim to handle here through, let's say, collective intelligence techniques. And we're really excited to get this data, and we thank you so much, Cécile, to play the game of the open data. And we know how difficult it is for large institutions to go into this footway, and really by its own, the data set that we have is really of incredible value. We will present it forward, and the challenge that we have here is really, let's say, challenging, because we're really, in a way, we can impact the way that pathologists are handling all these tumors. And so, again, Cécile, thank you very much. And we thank also Octopies, who went to the anonymization of the data. So not only we had this data set with great value, and also we have the anonymization that is done, since we also have clinical data from which the data scientists will infer the severity of the disease from coming data. We have a lot of epidemiologic parameter, the consumption of alcohol and tobacco, and a lot of other parameters. And also will handle the fact that not only we want to get an algorithm to say how much we can predict the severity of the cancer from the incoming, so let's say, clinical data of the patient, but also we want to help the pathologists to understand how this algorithm, which we suppose here to be working, is handling all this data altogether, imagery plus clinical. And this is something like, here I'm speaking more about the data science language, which are all the feature engineering in the interpretability of the algorithms, which will be one of the key elements on which we will discriminate the good and the bad between all the algorithms that will get. Not only it will have to predict correctly, but also to be interpretable, which is, as many people here may know, really something that's very important today in the field of AI. So this is it for what I can add on the top of what you said, Cécile.
Yeah, it's very important to understand that we are in the border between routine diagnose and research, and AI is really important for now to interpret these images, because it's very hard to just catch all the signals. So I hope we can, well, just improve our knowledge about these tumors and the outcome of the patient.
Okay, thank you both. Maybe a few ideas about where the project could go, or what type of outputs would you expect from this project, from this challenge?
As I said, if we can find some signatures, I mean, if some different tumor cells, understanding of the different cells can be combined and predict evolution of the tumor, is very important. Or even are different because of the spatial network, and because the thing is that cells are exactly like important to see the link between the different cells.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And to link all the information you got in the slide with the different data, about clinical data you will be able to have in this challenge.
And to the challenger, we say that the data is available, all the challenge documented on the JOGL webpage, and we say hi to the community, to the JOGL community, which is, and Thomas will say a few words about this, something like an international community, and we want really to spread out what we're doing here. And you guys, if you have people, colleagues, students, academic researchers, startuppers, whatever, that are into the fields of data science, and they can give some times to give to the pathology community ways to handle those data and those problems will be really, really worthwhile. And yeah, I give you back the floor.
And all my team, I mean my research team, will be there to help. Also.
Okay, thank you.
Right,
I think
Cette
so
conférence
please,
va
Bastien,
maintenant
maybe
être enregistrée.
you can maybe go on with the second challenge, Bastien, if he's still with us. Okay, maybe maybe you can start up with a few words on the second challenge.
Yeah, I can start on this. So here is the second challenge of this season, which is also really, really interesting from an epidemiology point of view. Here we go more on the less AI-based stuff, but very useful from epidemiologist point of view. The idea here is that basically the time of the open data was the time of the first decade of the 21st century, where all people were really excited about releasing data openly and struggling on format and make it more and more interoperable. And I happen to be, I think, with here Marc, Thomas, and Jonathan really onto this kind of subjects. But let's say that's now pretty much all the institutions in the world, the governments play the game of the open data. And we have open data websites basically on each country providing really rich and numerous informations. However, when I say rich and numerous, the fact is that the data is available. The data is, let's say, in good format, like CSV format, which is quite fine to Pythonize the data. The issue here is that to parse the data is very complicated. And for the epidemiology community, getting a way to handle this data in better condition is something like very useful. What we mean by that is that if you happen to look for a specific, let's say, cancer or a specific disease, let's say COVID, and if let's say in the literature, in scientific literature, we look at all the factors which induces those kind of disease, getting like items by items relevant data is possible. But when you want to cross and have an overview between, let's say, a cancer and numerous items, epidemiologic items, then it becomes really difficult to get to the data and to get really exactly what you need. So that basically the search of the open data is really, really difficult. And there are a lot of today communities handling this problem and trying to find ways to get the right tools, the right APIs to make the open data websites more handleable in a way, and for the epidemiologists mainly to get more quickly to the right informations. So from this challenge, the challenge, let's say, it's twofold, and the challengers will go to one or the other way. The first way is to go to the ontology side, when you're searching for data, and especially when you're searching in the field, specific field, let's say here epidemiology, getting an ontology to enable how you parse the data is really important. And you will find on the Challenge website all the tools that are already being developed by a community that's called Osiris. They're doing the job for the cancer, and they need some completion of the work around ontology of the epidemiology, let's say, environment, so that any people in the community versed into ontology can contribute really in an interesting way to enable this search engine. So the way we search the open data really concretely. And so to do that, they have to go to the Osiris GitHub page, and they will find all the instruction how to contribute to this open source project. The second way to handle the data, the open data and the search part of the open data is to develop query tools. These query tools can be APIs. These query tools can be more, let's say, smoothly how you try the open data websites. And the challenge will be here to develop search and query tools to enable the search of open data to be more systematic. I add one point here, which is not a technical point, but just to understand how the open data websites are done in general. In general, they're pretty much all based on a framework called CCAN, so that the query tool that you'll develop on one website, let's say for data.gouv.fr, which is the French website, will be most probably really generic and can be then pushed on other type of CCAN website. And finally, whether on the ontology part or whether on the query tools, we'll ask the challenger to make some kind of proof of concepts and to develop a database with the help of the tools that they will have developed. And there is no restriction on the kind of data set they will be able to bring. Obviously, the requirements are that it should be related to cancer and to epidemiology. Here, again, we're obviously fully available for any kind of question or any kind of help we can bring. I saw that Bastien.
Yes, I'm
Yes, please, you can back, yeah.
Okay. So I leave you to your presentation, and maybe I will add a few words afterwards.
Okay, thank you, and hello to everybody. So this challenge is because when we started working on the use of open data and the integration of open data and private clinical data, we faced a challenge that we actually did not expect, that it was very complex to explore all the open data available. And for example, you will find a very large amount of variety in the granularity of the data. Is it something regarding specific neighborhood or entire states? Of the scope, is it just speaking about one small place, one city, one neighborhood, or does it cover a whole territory? What is the exact semantic content? Sometimes you will have something about it's about environment, but actually it's only about specific trees, chestnuts in this area, which is of course about environment, but it's very specific. And also you have many problems in terms of normalization. What is the content of the system? And finally, the data sets often lacks information regarding qualities. quality information. So because of all that, we thought that advanced query system could really help us mine this gold mine of open data that is largely unused and that we don't join and use together, and that would be a great opportunity to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bastien. And again, we're really available here to help and to see how you can give you any need for you to develop your tools. And I think we'll come back maybe at the end of the session to the Q&A, and we'll discuss with the community if they have questions.
Perfect. Thank you. So I suggest now we have the presentation. If Bastien, you are done, or you had something to...
Yeah, sorry, I jumped right into the technical content. I completely forgot about introducing why we did that.
Yes, please.
So sorry. So just to say a word. So we are Hector, Julien, Guérin, and I. We are member of a working group at Cancer&Environement, Île-de-France, which is an institution that regroups many places around cancer treatment in Île-de-France, so in the Paris area. And we've been working on data integration a few years ago, and that led to very interesting things that Julien might detail further sometimes. And now we are focused on geodata and specifically what we can bring from external sources into the hospitals to build new information using this data. And so I work at APHP, this big institution, and more precisely at the Pompidou Hospital, exactly at the same hospital as Professor Cécile Badoual. And we are actively trying to use this data, and we've used it during the COVID crisis to try to see what kind of impact social environment could have on hospitalization. And we are doing the same thing for cancer with a variety of people. And we think that there is much more we can do, but the exploration of the open data sets is too much of a hurdle today to do that efficiently and to go further and do what we could.
Thank you so much. You will have a bit more context also on the interview that has been made of you and your colleague published today on the Medium, so you can find it on Twitter and on Facebook, of course, the Facebook group of Epidemium, if you want a bit more details about either GeoCancer and, of course, Professor Cécile Badoual, who had also the kindness to take some time to make an interview with Aude. So you have all of that accessible also on the networks yet. So thank you again. I will let the floor to Thomas to introduce the tool, the main tool we will be using to animate communities, which is, of course, much more than that, but Thomas will explain it.
All right. Hello, everyone. I will have to rely on you, Mark, to change the slides.
Of course.
It's easier. All right. So very nice to meet you all. I'm very glad to be here and to see Epidemium thriving once again. Me and project I had the chance to be part of at the very beginning. So so I'm here as the co-founder and the CEO of JOGL, which is a French NGO, which has for mission mostly to develop a new kind and adapted social and digital framework to help open science and open innovation communities to thrive. The whole idea is that if you want to start making like a very different kind of people collaborate with each other, if you can go to the next slide, Mark, thanks. If you want to make very different kind of people collaborate, you will find that it's actually very hard, especially because you're not part of the same kind of institutions, the same kind of social model, business model. And so it's really about, okay, how do we connect all those actors together? How do we make them be able to collaborate? And so obviously, you cannot do that in a purely institutional model. You cannot do that in a purely corporate model. And so we try to find a place in the middle that we call a community model that is able actually to bring everybody here together. And so Epidemium is such an example of a very diverse community and with a lot of different kind of stakeholders. So how do we bring all those actors together? And so we create also some kind of continuity. And so JOGL is basically the infrastructure to support these kind of communities. And so we launched JOGL about 2 years ago. And everything about JOGL is very compatible with Epidemium because we are ourselves also fully open source. Everything that is happening on JOGL and being done by the community is also fully open source. Can you go to the next slide, Mark? Thank you.
Sure.
So it's right now, JOGL is a pretty global community. We have more than 6,000 members on the platform from more than 100 countries, and so we've seen mostly an explosion due to the COVID, where the relevantness of JOGL was just given to the world as everybody was at home without the capacity of moving, and so there was this need of contributing, and so we successfully mobilized thousands of people from around the world, and we proved we made a strong proof of concept of how not only researchers but also amateurs and professionals and students could really work successfully together on how to bring complex projects, to the help to the fight of the pandemic. And so it was ranging from diagnosis tests to open data software for doing epidemiology, or medical engineering projects such as oxygen concentrator. So it was really for us a moment of truth. And so now JOGL has evolved into a more full-fledged platform that's not only supporting communities that we have been starting ourselves, but also external communities and organizations such as Epidemium to use the infrastructure that we've been building in the past couple of years, so that they can use those tools and our own experience to thrive themselves. Could you go to the next slide, please, Mark? And so one important aspect of JOGL is really the diversity of its existing community, and we have people ranging from very different kind of experiences and skills and professions. And so here you have just a snapshot that we've done a few months ago about what's going on currently in the platform. And so you can really go there and try to find someone who can match your needs, or you can actually be linked automatically. We have now, since a few months ago, an algorithm can make recommendations to you. So according to what you're doing, if you're a project leader or to your skills, you'll be recommended content, for example. Can you go to the next slide, Mark, please? So obviously, right now is not the moment to make a full demo of the platform. There will be other moments, other sessions that we'll be organizing. But mostly, you can go already on the platform. You can go on the Epidemium page. You can create your own profile. You can start building collaboration there. And if you have any questions regarding the platform, you must certainly not hesitate to contact us. We have also in this room several people of the JOGL team, and like Paige, for example, who will be there to help you. Also, understand any technical difficulties you may have actually with the platform if it happens. So yeah, it's. I'm not going to spend much more time, but the whole point is. This is a tool that is there for you. This is an ongoing a project with an ongoing development. We are also developing links between JOGL and external platforms, such as, for example, Dataiku. Or so it's very important for us also that you can bring us feedback about what you would like to see in the future, like what could be useful to you in order to make your experience at Epidemium even better. So I'll be done with this.
Thank you so much. Obviously, it could be the main entry point for the community. So it was really important for us to have this this overview. This is exactly the place where you can meet other challengers, create your teams. It has been said, but just wanted to insist on that. This will be your main reference point. So don't hesitate. The link will be everywhere, of course. Also to see more details on the challenges, because it's also a platform where you can document things. So this is the main place where we documented the challenges. The only two other links you will need will be the Slack for active discussions, and Dataiku, of course, which also will be linked into the JOGL platform. So thank you again, Thomas, for this presentation. So just the last slide is maybe a word about the other things with
it was just to say that we're beyond just the digital platform. It's really about how do you support the communities themselves by animating them, providing access to resources. We've experimented during the COVID also a framework to do community evaluation, to be able to distribute macro grants. It was extremely successful, and so it's also one of the things that we've been doing, experimenting on.
Perfect. Thank you. So quickly, how will it all work finally, this program? We have a few more minutes to spend on the global overview. We have detailed a lot of things, so you have the basic idea. First, of course, you may want to discover a bit more. We talked about a few technical details. There are a lot of information today. You want to take your time and discover what is happening into this program. Of course, you go to the JOGL platform and you have a lot of information about the ongoing projects, about the challenges, and about how to join with the community. Would you want to bring some other colleagues? Would they join a bit later after the launch? It's no problem. The idea is that people can join at any time. You definitely choose how much investment you want to make and how much time you want to spend on this program. So that's often a question that is asked on the programs. How much do I have to invest to be part of it? Basically, every step helps, and you can help a community, you can help a team that is already created, and you can, of course, also create your own team, and we are here to help you with that, definitely. So the resources will be accessible very shortly. You have already an example on the JOGL platform about what the data are looking like and how they are presented. So we can beginning to go there from right now. And of course, the Dataiku platform will be there after to help you develop your algorithms and to test your ideas, also share with your groups. As we say, this program is open source, so we expect teams to document their work because, of course, there is an evaluation at the end of the challenge. And this is the place also where you will have some modelization constraints and buildings. Be aware that you have also all the Dataiku community that can help you about the specific use of this tool. We'll have a presentation during the next weeks of Dataiku, their tools, their community. So we'll have much more information on that, but you can begin to discover it. We wanted to let you inscribe yourself on the JOGL platform first, and then we will open the Dataiku platform with all the data. But basically, we want to insist that the next week's event is really important for you to gather more info about what type of data you have and what maybe can you expect to do with it. So that's why we will focus on this next Friday too. Evaluation will be, of course, on this documentation and the summary of your project. We already have documentation on Epidemium website and other tools that will help you on how to build a question of research and how to deal with that. So really there is supportive people here to help you with it. So don't be afraid by this. I think we said it enough, but let's say it one more time. You can right now create your profile on app.jogl and join epidemium.slack.com, and the access to that IQ will be provided really soon. A short resume about the timeline now. We are the 9, the 17th is the second launch event, as we call it. The end of the challenge will be the 25th of November, as the committee will deliver its results in December. And we will start supporting publication from this time, but we really advise you to grab information as soon as you can about what type of documentation you want to produce and what type of results you expect from your work, so you are not too much surprised about the methodology. And this is something you can start from the beginning. Of course, we'll be pushing more supporting after December, but the idea is that you start looking at what is published already from right now. We will have different events, meetup events, a midterm event in October, late October, very probably in physical event. We hope so. It's a event that is designed physically to meet people. So of course, numeric tools can help to deal with community, but we really expect to deliver more proposition about physical meetups as we used to do. Of course, we'll be a bit impacted by the decisions that could happen, but of course, that's what we aim at. Still, you have the numeric tools to meet people if this could not happen. The agenda for the next events, for the 4 next events, is this one. We'll also publish it in JOGL. More presentation about the data next Friday. More dedicated presentation about anti-cancer from Professor Badwal, September 17th, the information from Dataiku, as I told you, and a presentation from our partner Octopies about how they anonymize data and why it's relevant for your project and maybe for your other projects too. Now is the time for Rémi Choquet, if you are available to explain us maybe a bit more about. Thank you first for being here, Rémi, and Camille too. They are partners from the beginning of Epidemium, and Roche has been supportive in many ways about helping communities, about providing information on how to make publication. So yes, I'll let you.
Thank you, Mark.
Summarize this, Rémi, the 4 years.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Do you hear me okay? Okay, yeah?
Yes, that's good, thank you.
Great, thank you very much. I think it's very exciting, very happy to see, this third launch, because we've been working on it, with you guys and so for quite a few months. The difficulty is that, we wanted to have a kind of a scientific grounded challenge, and you all know that having access to patient level data, that is real data set that are coming from, real patient that has a terrible disease is something that is not very, very easy nowadays. So I think I'm very happy as well that we found out, a way to go on to this kind of challenge where, the community will be able to have access to real patient level data, to work on. So just, a big thank you on behalf of the Roche group. Really, I want to thank, the Epidemium team, the participant and the partners, because we have a lot of partners this year. And I know it's not easy, you know, it's a COVID time. We could have chosen a COVID, you know, data set or whatever, but I think, you know, cancer doesn't stop, unfortunately. That's a terrible disease that can, you know, touch every one of us. I hope it will not, but let's be realistic. It's a terrible disease. So, you know, the Roche group has been innovating a lot on this disease, both in diagnostics, therapeutics. You know, we have released breakthrough, you know, innovation in cancer, and you know, we have largely increased the prognosis of many cancers, but some of them, you know, are very poor in terms of prognosis, unfortunately. But therapies, you know, they are not enough. They're just not enough to fight cancer. So we need more. So at the etiology level, you know, we've moved on over the last decade to organ-centric, you know, cancer or therapies, to genetically signed cancer types. So that's, you know, it's a breakthrough, and we have. This is what we call precision medicine, to be able to nail, you know, the cancer type with the mutation of the people. And yeah, actually, immunotherapy, it was a breakthrough. It is still a breakthrough, but there is still more to come. You know, I'm lucky enough to see what is in the pipeline of one of the biggest pharma group in the world, and it's impressive what's happening. You know, yeah, it's. I think it's nice, but you know. Clinical trial, you know, it won't happen tomorrow. So we still have, you know, to work. And so we went to genomics, and now we have a better understanding on some mutation, why this concern the prognosis, and maybe even sometimes how a drug will react on this particular patient. But it's not enough, because each and every cancer is different from one person to the other. This is what we call personalized medicine. But to nail that, we need to have new tools to do prediction on some prognosis. I mean, very nice presentation on the overall cancer, where we need to understand better, you know, this type of cancer and how it will react, for instance, to immunotherapy or other drugs. So start from the diagnosis, the therapy, of course, and then the follow-up of, you know, what the course of the disease and how it happened to the patient. So all of these things together, I mean, this is why I think I'm really happy about this season, because, you know, Epidemium allows us as Roche, you know, to do maybe things we would not do, because, yeah, we are very focused on the drugs that are coming on the market or are already on the market. And there, you know, we can open up, you know, to things that we might not do, you know, or maybe not this way. So I'm very happy that we can do that all together. It will provide patient or, you know, knowledge about, you know, this cancer, the way we take this cancer in charge. Of course, I'm not expecting to have an algorithm that could be on the market, you know, at the end of the 3 months, but you know, if there are some very interesting things that are coming up, you know, we are a big group, so always happy to talk with the winners, you know, to see how we can, you know, make the story going forward. You know, of course, you know, open source is something we can do as well. There's no issue about that. So this is the third season. I'm very happy. So again, thank you. That will be a season where we will produce science, hopefully. And of course, you know, as a group, I will try to get some of my data scientists working as well on this project. I'm happy of this partnering level we have. We have great medical and great data scientists that can help you guys. This is a rich chance for me, for every participant to connect and to work with some people you wouldn't work with otherwise. So it's also an opportunity for young, you know, data scientists. We have a lot of people knocking at our door saying, I want to work in healthcare. So I think it's very nice. It could look a bit complicated, you know, at the beginning, but don't worry, we have very nice people that will help you going forward on this challenge. So thank you very much for participating.
Thank you, Amy. Thanks a lot. We are almost at the end of the session. We still have a few minutes for the questions. We'll be quite consistent with the 1 hour goal we had. So thanks a lot to all the participants to have been consistent on their interventions. So yes, please, we can use the chat to maybe, I'd like to thank, of course, everyone again for being here and supporting this program. And yes, you can maybe shoot a few questions if you have some in the chat right now, while I finish to present all the supports we have for you to join us by any way, being, of course, the JOGL platform that has been presented, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Medium, Meetup, of course, the Slack, which will be a great place for you to exchange with others, and of course also the YouTube channel we didn't mention before of the Epidemium, because as you heard, it's the 3rd season, so there are a few very interesting things that has been done before. You can inspire from being projects or interventions from speakers about data and mathematics and sociology. There are many great things if you want to check the resources. So yes, I don't see any question. Yes, there are a few maybe. So if someone wants to take some. No, not yet. That has been quite clear. Maybe some of you, as has been said, has been quite surprised by the content of the challenge. I'd like to say again that you can contribute whoever you are and whatever you did before. It has been a very consistent commitment from the epidemiology community and also adult community dedicated to open science and citizen science, that of course, even if you are not a top-notch data scientist, you can contribute to this challenge, you can join team, you can do many different things. So don't be afraid maybe by this quite impressive use of scientific words and technical words. You can definitely join a team and make your place and make a difference for also the research. That's really the idea of being a citizen and being involved into science. So thank you for your time. I see a question about the sources of data that will be available. Maybe a question for you, Mehdi.
Yeah, so I read one question about the frameworks that have to be used. There is no prescription. Obviously, Scylla and NIML are really well tolerated, and this is really either from a XML-based data structures or from a web service point of view. Go ahead with the standard you're the most comfortable with. And definitely Scylla and NIML are really cool frameworks, and really like it's been something like quite a hot topic in the open data space. So yeah, feel free to use them if you will. And the second question, Mark, that you said is about the data source, but I can't.
What sources of data would be available?
Let's say for the challenge one, the data source is provided by the team of Cécile, and then all this data were fully anonymized by Topaz, and we have here, and again, I stress the fact that this is a very valuable data sets, and it's fully anonymized, and you can use it really in the good condition from a GDPR point of view. There's no issue at all. The second challenge, you're free to use whatever open data framework websites you want. The data are available. Basically, as I said, the websites are CCAN based. As far as I know, right, every kind of open data website are based on this framework. So if you will, it would be a good thing to stick to this open data web framework. Either you want to scrap or to build APIs. It will be more easy than to deploy them, if it's worthwhile to do, from website to another. This is it for the question of the open source data.
Thank you. We have another question, quite practical. Are these challenges like a contest, and are the winners? I can take a part of the answer, and maybe you can add a few things to that. So as you understand, maybe the idea is to engage people. The idea of calling it a challenge is, of course, something engaging. There is a jury, so yes, we have people telling that some projects might go further than others, that there are different steps for them to improve, and that's, I think, the most valuable idea of this challenge, that you will have feedbacks, you will be accompanied, and this is how you can maybe make your idea to progress. So that's basically what we think as being winners is probably a bit different than the classical hackathon. It's more the idea of co-opetition. In every other seasons, we had cross-fertilization between projects. So definitely, I think the one will say the opposite. We expect also a lot of involvement to help others in this season, and it's also a criteria for people to be evaluated on in the first at the end of the day. So yes, maybe you want to add something maybe about the kind of winners.
Yeah, just
we can talk. Yeah.
Yeah, just to say that obviously everybody were fully inclusive and everybody is here and will provide all that we can to make the condition of the work the more suitable. And basically, one of the trigger is the follow-up that will make for either challenge 1 or challenge 2. For challenge 1, let's say that we have really incredible data sets, and definitely Cécile Badoual has all the data. We made an open data set on part of the data, so that the people that will outperform from an algorithm point of view will have the opportunity. It will be discussed obviously with Cécile to go further and check the algorithms on on a larger data sets, and obviously this will lead to maybe also to check the condition under which it will be done from let's say an administrative point of view. But there will be a follow-up on this, and let's say that the data set that we have is really valuable, but it's a teaser in a way, and Cécile has a lot on the shelves. The second thing is about the challenge 2, where in interaction with people, let's say for instance at Etalab, who are really keen to deploy APIs for their web service, and let's say that any kind of open data providers in the world using the CKAN framework, and definitely we will connect people that will provide algorithms and ontologies. Will provide them the connection to this open data community, so that to deploy their solution and help the community to get the right tools to check the data and to get the epidemiologists to work in a better way, which is, I think, the spirit of all which is done on Epidemium, and crossing obviously the spirit of the JOGL platform, connecting people around these topics everywhere in the world.
Thank you.
And again, maybe I say one point. Again, all people that are connected, I think we still have part of them. Don't hesitate really to chat about the data that we have, to chat and say that what we have is really, really interesting, and around them, I think we can mobilize a lot of people, and what can come out of this can have really a deep impact on the patient's side, the medical side, and also the research side, so which is really exciting.
Definitely.
Don't hesitate to spread the word.
Yes, and we didn't even mention them, but I have to add, of course, that we have also the previous seasons communities that are part of the people that can help, and I saw a few names and a few people, Eduardo Bonay and others, that are willing also to help and contribute. So yes, feel free to join in, and you will see there is a huge support from everyone to help you find ideas, find a team, and that's the idea. Everyone can make his part. So thank you again. I think we are quite good till the next meeting. So again, let's meet next Friday. We will make a new meetup event, of course. And thanks again. Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, everyone.
Like Zoom.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, there's a question about Chris.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
we can chat maybe. Give the email
Thank
to.
you.
Or if Chris is still if Chris is still on air, let me say that obviously you can use any kind of algorithm. That's strictly
Anyway,
bound to on neural network. Definitely.
I take all the
And yeah,
questions, and we have the FAQ in JOGL, so we can also answer on the support. But thank you for the attention. I made this one. Thanks. Good evening to everyone.
Bye.